Yeah, so welcome. Take a deep breath. Settle in. I just want us to have a real conversation today. No shiny pitch decks, no complicated charts. Not that I had those anyway, but just me, you, and a fireplace, a metaphorical fireplace anyway. I spend most of my days talking to people just like you, business owners, dreamers, doers, people who woke up in the morning and decided to build something out of thin air. And it is a beautiful thing, but let me be honest, it's also exhausting. And you wear 100 different hats. You're the chief executive, you're the head of marketing, you're the customer service rep. Sometimes you're the janitor, you're the person taking out the trash at midnight. It's my dog. Anyway, you didn't start this business because you love staring at spreadsheets, right? You started it because you're great at what you do. You have a passion. You have a vision. Okay, stop. Enough. But somewhere along the line, you hit a wall, and that wall is usually made of money. You realize that, to get to that next level, you need the fuel, you need the capital. And that's where the headaches begin, right? So, I've helped hundreds of clients secure what we call tier one capital. But, before we get into what that means, I want to talk about the trap that so many hardworking people fall into. And let me tell you a story about a guy, and I'll just call him Mike to protect the guy's name. But Mike runs a medium-sized manufacturing shop, and he makes custom parts for cars. He's a smart guy. He's a genius with metal. Anyway, he's an artist. But a few years ago, Mike landed a massive order, huge order of a lifetime. And, the only problem was he needed the raw materials to fill it. And he needed a new machine. And he needed cash fast. So Mike went online and he searched for business loans and he got hit with a dozen offers immediately, right? Like instantly. Pow. And they promised him money in his account by tomorrow. No paperwork, just a click a button. And, Mike clicked that button and he got the money. He bought the machine. He filled the order. But then the payments started. They were pulling money out of his account every single day. The interest rate was astronomical. He had taken a cash advance that was just choking the life out of his business, essentially. He was working twice as hard just to pay the daily fee, and Mike was drowning, right? And, he's not the only one. I see this situation or a situation like this almost every single week where the market is just flooded with this. It's flooded with fast, easy, expensive money. It's like eating candy when you're starving, right? And you get a quick rush of energy, you feel good, but then an hour later you crash, right? And you feel worse than before. But that's really not how you build a legacy. That's how you burn out. So, what is the alternative? The alternative is what we call tier one capital. And I want you to think of tier one capital as the premium fuel for your rocket ship. It's high quality, it's stable, it's designed for growth, not just survival. Tier one capital, it means getting funding from prime lenders. It means having interest rates that makes sense. It means having payment terms that let you breathe, let you sleep at night, let you keep the profit that you work so hard to make. But, here's the secret about tier one capital. You don't just stumble into it. You have to build a bridge to get there. And, lenders, they want to see a solid foundation. They want to see good habits. They want to see a story that makes sense, right? And that is where most business owners get stuck. So they are too busy running their day-to-day operations to step back and, build that bridge. And this brings me to another story. And let's talk about Sarah. I'll just call her Sarah anyway. Sarah owns a chain of boutique fitness centers. And when I met her, she had 2 locations. They were packed. She had a waiting list. She wanted to open a 3rd and a 4th location, but the banks kept turning her down. They said, you're too new, you haven't done this long enough. They said her tax returns didn't look right. She was frustrated. And she told me that she felt like she was being punished essentially for growing too fast, which makes sense from her perspective, right? She did not need a quick cash advance. She needed a partner. She needed someone who could translate her success into a language that the big banks would understand. So we sat down together, we looked at everything, we cleaned up her financials, we told the right story of her business the right way, and we showed the prime lenders exactly why Sarah was the best bet that they could make. And it took a little bit of time, it took a little bit of patience, but we got her that tier 1 capital that she deserved, and it was a massive line of credit with a great rate. And today Sarah and I we're great friends. And she does not only have 2 locations, she actually has 11. And she's actually dominating a market that's incredibly competitive. But the best part is she's not stressed out about money anymore. She gets to focus on what she loves. She gets to help her clients get healthy, spend time with her family. But that transition from stress to stressful, from surviving to thriving is why I do what I do. It's never just about the numbers on a screen. It is about the human beings behind those numbers. And when a business owner gets the right funding, everything changes for them. They can hire more people. They can provide a better life for their family. They can build up their local community. Give jobs back. A successful small business, really, they say it's the heartbeat of America, and it is. And keeping that heartbeat strong is the most important job in the world. But to do that, you have to choose partners wisely. And you can't just go with whoever yells loudest in the internet. You need someone who's willing to sit by that fire with you. Someone who's willing to ask you those hard questions, right? Someone who cares about where you'll be in 5 years from now, not just tomorrow, So in my experience, the greatest successes come when there is a total alignment between the business owner and the funding team. And, we have a saying we live by, and growth requires honesty and commitment. And if you really think about it, those 3 words are the foundation of any great relationship: growth, honesty, and commitment. It's the exact culture we breathe every single day here at GHC Funding. We believe that when you put those things first, the capital flows, the business follows, the peace of mind follows. Now, let me just give you another example to drive this home. And think about a farmer. A farmer does not just throw seeds on dry dirt and pray for rain. A good farmer, he'll prepare, or she will prepare the soil. They'll remove the rocks, they'll add the nutrients. They do the hard work before the seed ever touches the ground. And that's how you have to treat your business finances. You can't just go ask for a loan and hope for the best. You can't. You have to prepare the soil. I have a client named David. He ran a trucking company. And, David had 10 trucks. And half of them were in the shop. They're always breaking down, He was losing contracts because he couldn't deliver on time. The truck's in the shop. He knew that they needed, newer fleet, but his credit had taken a hit. And he had a couple bad years, and he felt completely stuck. So you know what? He came to me feeling defeated, and he was ready to sell his trucks and really close shop, just give up on the whole thing, right? And I told David, I said, listen, the same thing that happens to everyone. Let us look at the soil. Let's look at the foundation. Let's look at what we can fix. So we spent some time together. We spent 3 months together. We restructured a few old debts. We changed the way he invoiced his clients to improve his cash flow. We did not borrow a single dime during that time. We just got his house in order, essentially cleaned house, right? So we practiced growth, honesty, commitment, all to the process, right? And, once that soil was ready, we went to that tier 1 lender because we had done the prep work. The lenders did not see a struggling trucking company. What they saw was a well-oiled machine that was ready to scale. And, David did get approved for that equipment financing at a rate that he could afford. He couldn't believe it. And he replaced the 5 broken trucks with brand new models. And his maintenance costs vanished. And his delivery times became perfect. And his revenue doubled in 12 months. And he went from wanting to quit to building an empire. You see, money is not just a tool. A hammer can build a house, or it can smash a window. It all depends on whose hand is holding it and what the plan is. And bad capital, like those daily payment loans, is a hammer smashing your window. Tier 1 capital is a hammer building your dream home. But to get to that tool, you need the right blueprint. And you need the right architect to help you do it. It's perfectly fine if you don't know all the ins and outs of commercial financing. You're really not supposed to. You're supposed to be the best plumber or baker or manufacturer or whatever you are out there, software designer, whatever you do. AI, guru, that's your genius zone. You should stay in that genius zone. Don't leave that, right? Just stay there. And you just need to find the people who have the genius zone in finance. People who have walked this path with, hundreds of times with other folks just like you, who know where the pitfalls are, who know how to safely guide you around them. When you surround yourself with that right team, the impossible suddenly becomes just another item on your to-do list. So look, I want to challenge you today. I want you to look at your business and ask yourself a really hard question. Are you running on cheap gas, or are you ready for some premium fuel? Are you settling for the easy money that costs you your future? Or are you willing to do a little bit of work to get tier 1 capital, the tier 1 capital that you deserve? Look, you've already done the hardest part. You started the business. You took that leap of faith. You survived the late nights and the early mornings. And you have proven that you have what it takes to succeed. Now, it's just about getting the right tools in your hands to finish the job. So don't settle for less than what your dream is worth, okay? Don't let a temporary cash crunch, put you into a long-term trap. Just take a breath, take a step back, find a partner who cares about your legacy as much as you do. And when you find that kind of support, when you tap into those types of resources, like the ones we pour our hearts into at GHC Funding, the whole game changes. The heavy weight lifts off your shoulders. The path, the vision, it becomes clear. The business is a vehicle meant to give you freedom. It's not a cage. By securing the right kind of capital, you are opening the door to that freedom. You get to dictate your own terms. You get to decide how fast you grow. You get to be the true master of your own destiny. And it has to be, it has been an absolute honor, sharing some time with you today. And, just keep building. Look, keep going, keep growing, keep believing in the incredible value that you bring to the world. The road ahead is bright, I can assure you that. And with the right foundation under your feet, there's absolutely no limit to what you can do. So, thank you so much for listening, and let's go out there and build something great. Have a good day. Thanks.